you don't like black people, I better never catch you in an ambulance. I better never catch you in an ambulance. You better be walking to every hospital you go to. If you don't like black people, you should never be calling for an EMT to bring you an ambulance. You know why? Black people invented the ambulance. You're welcome. Freedom House. So if you don't like black people, I hope you're walking your gunshot wounds to the hospital. I hope you're walking your heart attack symptoms to the hospital. Make sure you walk that low blood sugar over to the hospital. Walk that broken leg over to the hospital. I hope you're walking your episodes of any kind to the hospital. Because remember, black people invented your ambulance, America.
This lady seems to be very interested in black people inventing things. So did you just like invent that history? Like out of nothing? Because everything you just said there is a lie. Like all of it is a lie. Black people didn't invent the ambulance. The ambulance was invented by a French doctor who was working for Napoleon and wanted to get wounded troops from the battlefield to the hospital as fast as possible. Even the photo you used to try and show that black people invented an ambulance, that's just a car painted white at a hospital. Both those things white people invented. In fact, white people or European people can account for 95% of all of the modern day high impact inventions or patents in the world. So if your rule is that you shouldn't use a product because it was invented by a race that you hate, and you clearly hate white people because you're blaming us for the problems of black people. And I'll get to that in just a second and what I mean by that. But like if your rule is that you don't use the inventions of people that you hate, well, you can't use 95% of the products that you're using right now. Okay? Now, the other share percentage was Asian people. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means that you're going to be left in the Stone Age. It's going to be amazing for you, without the phone to film your really hard to listen to screeds here about how much you hate white people and ascribe to us all of the problems that actually, according to all available statistics and data, are confined predominantly to blacks. And what I mean by that is you're talking about gunshot wounds, you're talking about high blood pressure, and like how much hospitalization that white people need, and how we have to take black ambulances in order to get that. What are you talking about, lady? 2.5% of the population, young male black people under the age of 35, make up 55 to 60% of the homicides in this nation. It's like 65% of the gun violence is committed by young blacks. So if you're talking about people that need an ambulance to get a gunshot wound or high blood pressure, which black people are also way over-indexed for when it comes to high blood pressure and diabetes, if you're trying to play a data game, everything you just said is wrong, and hilariously wrong. If you're trying to just give some type of anti-white screed to claim some type of fiction about black people, well, congratulations, you've absolutely done that. But thank a French person next time you use an ambulance.
Tonight, a split screen of the Trump administration's treatment of refugees. As the Supreme Court gives the White House the green light to deport hundreds of thousands of legal migrants, like Haitians, we're learning now that at the same time, the White House is rolling out the red carpet for white South African refugees. According to the New York Times, the administration is putting together welcome bags that include an Android tablet, an American flag, copies of the Constitution, and literature sanitizing American and South African history, claiming that South Africa promotes discrimination against white people. They will also give the refugees a report commissioned by Trump downplaying the role of slavery in America's founding, and a children's book accusing South Africa's government of favoring the black population. Look, it is a fact that in the last year, since October 2025, 6,000 plus South African refugees have been allowed into this country. 3 have been allowed in from Afghanistan, and 0 people have been allowed in from anywhere else. How is that not a policy? And by the way, only white South Africans, not black South Africans. How is that not a racist policy?
So South Africans are Africans. They are citizens of the nation of South Africa. They reside on the continent of Africa. For decades, this country, they are African. Whether they are white or black, they are African. And for decades, this country has taken in millions of refugees from several African nations that have been destabilized. Somalia, so much so that we've changed the entire demographic of a U.S. state. But Somalia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of the Congo.
What do all those places have in common?
We've taken in millions.
What do all those places have in common, Caroline? Maryland.
now we're taking in, what they all have in common is every single one of those nations that I just listed,
Yeah.
including South Africa, are African
Experiencing-
countries.
No,
And we've taken
no.
in millions from
That's
the others,
actually
but we're
not
taking
it.
in
The
6,000
thing that
from
they
South
have in
Africa,
common
and everyone's up
is that
in arms.
all of those
Caroline,
countries
that's what's going on here,
It's
and
actually
literally what's going on here.
6,000
war,
and it's
white
embarrassing.
that we're taking
famine,
in when we've
civil
taken in
war.
millions
Please don't do
all
that.
across
It's so
the continent.
embarrassing.
All are African.
It is not that, okay? Obviously, right? Those are places where there is actual conflict, where there is actual war, where people are actually being killed. Trump is basically saying the only people who we will let into this country are white people.
Yeah,
That is-
They're
He
African.
basically, no.
Whether they
come
are
on.
white or black,
They
they're
are
African,
white
and they're
people.
facing
Caroline,
racial
you are making us
persecution in their
look
country
ridiculous
with
right
the
now.
expropriation
You are
act
making us look
that the South
ridiculous.
government-
This is a
South African
completely
government just
racist
passed into law
argument.
where they said
You
the
can keep talking,
government
but it's
can
completely
take and
racist.
seize
If I say
private
only white people
property
are allowed in,
regardless,
it's racist.
and
It is
that is a
racist.
policy
And
for
then they
people
gave
who
them a
are
gift
discriminated
bag
against
of
in South
basically
Africa.
white
And they
Christian
have every right,
supremacist
as much as any
propaganda.
Okay, all right,
I don't know
guys,
why you're
let's
going
just
on about this. It makes us
stop
look
for a second, because we
absolutely
need to-
idiotic.
Back up. Josh, back up.
This is like I don't even know where to start with this. Is this how you actually feel? Like are you giving your real opinions right now? I feel like this is not how you actually feel about this.
The United States has had an extremely generous refugee policy in regards to several African nations. Now that South Africa is one of them, there's a problem. When was the problem? When we were taking in millions from
You're
every
being
other
deliberately
destabilized
obtuse,
African
and it's
nation.
embarrassing.
This is very deliberately obtuse, I would say. I'm going to kind of skip over some of this and say...
Can somebody
Stop.
explain the
No,
Expropriation
please
Act then
stop.
in South Africa and what's
No,
going on
we don't want to
there?
do that,
Okay,
Caroline. I know
Caroline,
what
let
your
me, the
answer
first
is.
thing
It doesn't
about
matter
that
if it's racist.
is that what you're saying, that Expropriation Act, no property has been expropriated. You know that, right?
No, that's
No.
that's not true.
It is
you
true.
read the executive order that the Trump
but hold
administration
on.
wrote.
No property has actually been expropriated.
I think there's 6,000 South Africans that would beg to differ.
So you're talking about something that is basically hypothetical when here's the reality of life in South Africa. 3 decades after apartheid, which apartheid means that black people were subjected to laws that prevented
Which is
them from
equally
living
wrong.
as equal
Equally
citizens.
wrong.
Black South Africans, who account for more than 80% of the country's 63 million people, face far higher unemployment than their white counterparts, 35.8% compared to 8%, okay? White households average almost 5 times more wealth than black families. So, okay, in South Africa, I'm sure they have plenty of problems internally, but this idea that there is a genocide happening in South Africa against white people is fictitious. Here's one person who was brought into this country as a refugee. He says he left behind a Jaguar sports car, a Range Rover, and what he estimates to be property worth at least $300,000. He plans to sell them all so that he can come to the United States as a refugee. Meanwhile, we're saying to Americans, don't go to Haiti because you might die, but we want to send 350,000 asylum seekers essentially back to Haiti because Stephen Miller doesn't like Haiti.
Well, because it's a different
Well,
program.
I don't think it's because Stephen Miller doesn't like Haitians. I think because the
He's
Supreme
said as
Court-
much.
Okay, but I think the Supreme Court of the United States made that ruling. I don't think it's based on the
On
executive
behalf-
branch.
because the
It's
administration
judici-
wants to deport them, yes.
Okay, but the judicial branch had 6 pretty intelligent
Sure.
lawyers who decided that
That they were gonna bend their
Okay,
will to
but Arthur,
look-
what is
that-
the logic of a policy that lets a guy with a Range Rover and a Jaguar sports car in as a refugee, but not someone literally fleeing essentially a civil war?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, the
I think
answer
it's-
is
I'm always honest with you.
If I
I mean, I don't have an answer to
If
that
I can,
question.
I think we can back it up again to the gift bags. What other group of people have we brought into the country and given gift bags to?
well, we've
What
given a lot of
other group
Somalian
people-
refugees $18 billion worth of fraud to buy their own Range Rovers here. I think that's
We
pretty
don't
generous
have any
of the
proof
American
of the fraud
taxpayer.
you're talking
That's
about,
quite a gift
Caroline.
bag.
And let me tell
And it
you,
was
we don't
predominantly
you keep
committed by
blaming
Somalian
things that aren't
refugees.
true.
We got to
They're
go
true.
quickly.
I'm just going to say this is America at its most familiar to me, opening its arms very wide open to white immigrants and not black immigrants, and then telling you not to believe your eyes
Are South
when you've seen
Africans
it.
African?
All right.
Are white
Yeah,
South Africans African?
Next for
So a Nigerian player, yeah, she spoke out after saying money was stolen from her room. But instead of waiting for the facts Her Instagram comments were flooded with monkey emojis and racist abuse. Since when did football become an excuse for racism, yeah? Since when did supporting a team mean attacking someone's race? Football is about passion. Football is about competition. Football is about representing your country with pride. But racism, that has no place in this game, yeah? None. If someone disagrees with what she said, argue her with her words. If a crime happened, let the authorities investigate it. But posting racist comments because she's a black woman, that's disgraceful, yeah? African football deserves to be celebrated for the football, not remembered for racism. Man, do better. Respect the players. Respect the game. And lastly, respect human beings. Yeah?
Tell me why I've been racially abused for the second time on my jog now. So guys, I was jogging home and some guy, a middle-aged white man, was on his bike riding past me and he said to me, "You effing Paki, get out of my country." And I'm like, wow. I turned around thinking I was going to chase him and ask him, "What did you say?" But I thought I'd allow it. But guys, it's bamboozling to think in 2026, big 2026, right? I'm experiencing that on a jog. I'm getting racially abused, calling a Paki and telling him to get out of my country. Now, where do you want me to go? I was born in the UK. Like, where do you want me to go? If you got me an island somewhere, a nice exotic island, beach, huts, drinks, whatever, yeah, I'll move happily, yeah. But I was born here. What you guys being racist for? I don't get it. Do better.
I've just seen yet another video of someone describing how they've just received racial abuse while jogging down the road. A British man who's always lived in Britain, never had any problems, but now is getting called names and told to go back to his own country. His country is this country. I tell you what, okay? If you're one of these racists, yeah, who thinks people should go back to their own country, well, I'm letting you know. You might think it's okay to pick on minority groups, but you're a minority. Because the majority of this country aren't racists. No, we're not. And actually, as the majority, we don't want racists in this country. No thanks. Why don't you? Yeah? Go on, find yourself a nice little island somewhere, because we don't want you here. You can get out of our country, because racism doesn't belong here. You can sit in your little island together, all of you, yeah, with your little narrow-minded, racist viewpoints. Oh, you'll probably have to care for all your elderly, and you'll probably have problems trying to staff your hospital, yeah, but quite honestly, that's not my problem, is it? You can go. It disgusts me. Who do you think you are, telling people to get out of this country like you own it, like it's yours? You're just borrowing it for a short period of time before you shuffle off, yeah? And why don't you, in that short period of time, try and learn to be a decent person? Not a racist. So go on, off you go. We don't want you in this country anymore.
It's racist. It's just racist, racist, racist. Let me be clear about something. The people that were here are the indigenous folk. And you know who ICE been rounding up? They've been rounding up indigenous people. The people that originally came, not the colonizers, but the original people. So what this is about is whiteness. Everything that this administration has pushed has been about white supremacy. You want to sit up here and act like the crime is being perpetrated by people of color, but the statistics say otherwise. If you look at the real numbers, I know that y'all believe in propaganda and y'all don't want people to know the truth, and y'all definitely don't want them to know history, because then you got to, again, acknowledge colonizing. But nevertheless, when you look at the numbers, you want to tell me about one-offs. And listen, as a criminal defense attorney, I have represented people of all colors. Let me tell you, anybody can commit a crime on any given day. The idea that you put a white sweeping brush on everybody that happens to have a little bit of melanin as a criminal, that is really the crime. When you are elected to represent somebody, you should be understanding that your job is to fight for everybody. And what makes this country great is our diversity.
Just say like no more thing, like the no more, okay? Not scream, okay? In Thailand we not scream.
Sorry for bringing money to your country.
No manner. Yeah, you too. Just shut the f off. Just shut your f off.
Relax, my friend. I'm so tired of white people continuously disrespecting Asian countries and cultures. No amount of tourism or money gives you a free pass to be racist, arrogant, sexually harass people, or act entitled. It's literally not hard to respect people when you're visiting another country. The Thai woman wasn't even being rude. She was respectfully reminding them about the regulations, which I'll put on the screen right here. It literally says to not make loud noises or disrupt other passengers. But clearly they didn't care. It kept being loud, obnoxious, racist, and disrespectful anyways. One of them gave the Thai woman the middle finger, another person pointed their genitals and basically sexually harassed her. Then another person made racist slant-eye gestures, while another mocked Asians by saying, "China ni hao," as if every Asian person is Chinese. It's the same racist stereotype that all Asians look the same and is ignorant every single time. Then the older woman, who's a teacher by the way, had the caucasity to say, "Sorry, I bring money to your country." Girl, nobody gives a fuck how much money you spend while visiting another country. That doesn't excuse the racism, disrespect, sexual harassment, or acting like you're above the people who actually live here. You're a guest. Act like one. And the irony of that weirdo to say, "Sorry, I bring money to your country." Like, Italy isn't one of the most indebted countries in the world. Like, girl, who the fuck needs your money right now? You should be worried about that debt, instead of acting like your tourist dollars make you untouchable. Then after the backlash, they apologized. And respectfully speaking, they were only apologizing because they got called out on their bullshit and never expected the video to go viral. They just gave a generic apology and then started talking about the hate they were receiving, as if it's not the consequences of your own actions. And as a teacher, you should have known better. You're supposed to set an example, not enable your students while they're being disrespectful and racist. Asians shouldn't be subjected to racism, sexual harassment, arrogance, and entitled simply because we're Asian and never taken seriously when it comes to these topics. We deserve the same respect you expect for yourself when you travel somewhere. So know your place as a visitor. You're a guest in someone else's country. And if you choose to be disrespectful, don't be surprised when Asians call you out and drag you if needed.
I am sick and tired of repeating myself. I wasn't gonna go in person for my last supervisor meeting for my master's. Now you're probably wondering, Deborah, you've been doing your master's for a year. Why would you not go to your last meeting for your dissertation? And the simple answer is racism. There has been a rise of far-right political protests for these far-right groups in Scotland. And their whole spiel is about anti-immigration. I have logged onto my phone multiple times, and every time I'm seeing a new video of somebody being attacked. And for my master's research, I have actually been researching the experiences of Black creatives in Scotland, with a focus on the fashion industry because my master's is international fashion marketing. From my research, I had interviews with multiple Black Scottish people and the same topics kept coming up. There is a problem with the structure of diversity and inclusion in Scotland. From my research as well, I have found that everything ties to the slave trade. And a lot of people are not educated with the connections that Scotland, especially Glasgow, has to the transatlantic slave trade. I've spoke about it on my account before, and I think there's a problem with miseducation of people. This is not a pointing fingers game because there's so much going on. I think there's so many layers of it. But where we have to start is structurally. I've researched the race, representation, visibility from theorists and contributed to Scotland with researching about Black creatives navigating Scotland as a whole. And there's many nuances with class that go into it, gender as well. Racism is a multifaceted thing, and where it starts is education. This year marks 20 years of me living in Scotland. I've grown up here, been involved in the culture. People like to claim that people are just labelled as just Scottish. That is not the reality. I have multiple friends on here that have gotten racist comments, and it's just starting to get heavy now. It's absolutely upsetting going onto your phone and seeing somewhere where I'm supposed to feel safe, literally just going to go to a meeting with my supervisor about I'm getting my education. Now I have a fear in my heart that I will be attacked by these protesters or groups of people who have been miseducated, not informed. But yeah, I'm sick of getting emotional, coming on here crying when we have governments, education systems that are not telling our stories. I think we need to be challenging the people that are higher than us, because me as a person, what am I supposed to do? I can come on here and speak and have awareness and everything, but I am just one person. So my message is literally just urging you to educate yourself. Challenge the ones that are higher and above. Speak out for your Black friends, Asian friends, literally any minority that you have close to you. It is very dark times that we're in right now. But this is the place that I call home, but we're constantly reminded that we aren't welcome here. This page is supposed to be fun, but this is the realities of it as well. So I'm not gonna hide out in my house. And one thing about me, I am tired, so I will fight. I'm joking. Don't fight me, please. But I'm gonna head out, go to my supervisor meeting. This is my last time I am meeting with my supervisor, and she's been the most amazing person. Understanding why I'm researching what I'm researching to talk about the lived experiences of Black people in Scotland. And again, I'm adding to the education of telling our stories wherever I can. But yeah, my dissertation is nearly done. People can read it if they want, but it's very interesting to see the ways that we are oppressed, just not in person. It's also on social media as well. I've looked into algorithms, I've looked into visibility, representation, race, belonging, navigation, and it is disheartening, but there is optimism. So hopefully I can take my research further. I might have to take a step out of education for a bit, but I just wanted to share this last book. That's why I'm holding it. This is the book that I am going to give to my supervisor for the most amazing books. And even though Angela Davis is American, a lot of the stuff that does happen in America does happen here as well. It's a global and universal thing. But anyways, this book is really, really good if you want an introduction. It talks about intersectionality before it was even coined that. And it's a good starting basis if you do want to educate yourself. And my supervisor throughout this has been listening to me and pushed me further. Wow, why am I getting emotional? But yeah, I wrote her a little something as well inside. I hope I can contribute to a better Scotland for younger Black people as well, because the things that I went through, I don't want anyone else to go through. So it's little steps everyone can take to a better future. So I hope that starts with everyone educating themselves and at your local MP. I don't know how. I'm off now. Hopefully we get some more fun videos, because yeah, my master's is done. I did that. Yeah.
I feel very scared in this place, and today I watching this side, and I thinking some people come again and hitting me and abusing me, harassment me, and I not feel better this place because I am very scared. Before this incident, I feel Glasgow is my home. Some people's abusing me, go back home, and brownie people, and some people says me Asian people, and I'm scared this time. Why are abusing me? Then I come back this side, and I come here. One guy threw traffic cone.
It is so hard describing to other people what it's like to grow up in a really toxic white family when you're mixed. And the fact that I felt adopted my whole entire life. My family are the type of people who grew up saying the M-word and grew up thinking that Black people should be segregated against, white people, and that we belong in certain areas and all this different shit. But it's it's so weird when you get placed in that family, because I don't think they ever in their life thought my mom would get with a Black man, and she did. And at that, I was also a mistake. Like, I wasn't meant to happen. I was a one-night stand, and then boom, I was born. And it's like they've never cared to get to know what the Black experience, like, you know, what the Black experience is like, or like who I am as a human being. Like, all they know is their ignorance, and I've always been the black sheep of the family and treated differently. And like, a great example is like, for my 20th birthday, my grandma gave me a fucking DNA test. That was my birthday gift. And I don't even talk to her. I don't even speak with her. And she knows I don't like her, and she still went out of her way to send me some shit like that. And they are so goddamn ignorant, and they don't care about anyone but themselves, and they're so fucking selfish. They are so, like, at least with my family. Like, every family is different. Not all white people are like that, blah, 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 blah. But my family is. And it's so hard to deal with and so hard to explain to other people, like, because race doesn't matter in a lot of families. Like, it's like everyone's kind of the same race. And then with me, I'm black. So it's too fucking much for them. I don't know.
Something happened at the powerlifting world championships to a black woman named Sunita. I want you to watch this video and then let's talk about it.
Tell me how you're expected to hit depth in the IPF when the side spotter's thigh gets in the way of the plates. We demand justice for Sunita.
She handles.
Pause it, rewind it, watch it again. Watch the bald guy's thigh on Sunita's right. This guy's going famous on internet forums for spotting the way he does.
321.5.
Let me know what you think.
That was high. It's gonna really help.
She did not get a chance to redo her squat.
That was a woman who was going for the female world record. In order for that record to qualify, she had to bring the weight down to a certain level. And you could see that bald man that he was referring to, his thigh stopped the weight from going down. That is illegal. And he later admitted he did it on purpose because he was a racist. When black people say we often feel like we have to be twice as good in the face of many more obstacles than our non-black opponents, this is what we were talking about. I get really, really tired of people saying black people play the victim. You're not playing the victim when you're calling out accurately things that happen to you that don't happen to other people. The reason people say that is because when we say we're being victimized by racism, we're calling one of them the perpetrator, and their uncomfort will not allow that. So they have to push back and say, no, you're the bad one for calling it out. It's not us being the bad ones for doing it. This man openly admitted it, posted on social media that he did it because he's a racist. Now, shout out to the organization that hosted this event, the IBF, I think they're called. They gave this man a lifetime ban, so he's never, ever going to be in a position to do that again. But this is an example of what it's like to participate in activities as a black person and feel like there's more than just the weight against you. There's more than just the opponent against you. You are sometimes fighting the system itself just because of racism. So go ahead and try to deny it. The man openly admitted it.
So there's this like weird type of racism in the Midwest. If you're moving up to the Midwest, where like the white people don't have enough balls to like be overtly racist. So what they do is like they talk to you with this level of sarcasm as if you don't understand that they're being rude, right? They talk to you with this certain level of like just coldness and sarcasm, like you're a dummy. And it's like they think they're talking over your head. And then when you call it out, they get shocked. So like, for example, I went to this auto body shop, right? It's called Gary's Automotive. And he was like, yeah, your compressor, I need a new compressor. It's gonna be $500. I was like, I looked online and I can't even find a compressor for my vehicle that's that high. And he's like, oh, you're probably getting that stuff that's made in China. Yeah, we don't put that stuff in your car. And I was like, okay, so what's the name of the brand of compressor you'll be putting in my car? And so I look at the screen and he turns the screen and he's like, it's loading right now. It's loading right now. This is top secret. This is a private screen. Mind you, most mechanics will show you their screen. Like when you go to any auto store, they'll show you their screen. So I was like, okay, whatever. And so he's like, read me off your license plate again. So I read it off and like, let's say it's like the letter X. He was like, so what you are saying is X, right? Like just making it seem like I'm speaking a whole different language. And I was like, you know what, sir? You're so hostile that I think I'm just gonna leave and find another place to service my vehicle. And like, it's crazy because sometimes these people forget that we can get up and leave and go to another business. Like, they just be getting so shocked. He was like, wait, hold on, I understand that, blah, 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 blah. I just left, man. But yeah, take your dollar where they respect you.
You have a much greater chance of suffering and dying and getting hurt by somebody that looks like you, whether you white or Hispanic or Asian or any other nationality. You have a greater chance of being offed and hurt by somebody that looks like you than somebody that doesn't. And so what I'm trying to understand is, why are people so concerned with racism? And similar to what this young man is saying right here, when did you actually experience racism? Because I have this sneaking suspicion that has been taught to you. I don't believe that most people that say that they have experienced racism have experienced racism. I believe that most of what you guys complain about and whine about and take issue with is all taught to you.
Well, the support and the love I have received today is overwhelming. I didn't become Muslim for any other reason than I was guided here. I didn't even choose it. I didn't choose this, God did. I didn't choose it to feel protected. I didn't choose it to feel like I needed to fit in. I didn't choose it for anything apart from the fact that this was decided for me. But an added bonus is I have now joined one of the most supportive communities I've ever witnessed in my life. The amount of messages and support and love and encouragement is just insane. I can't thank you all enough. And I hope that I make God proud, my wife and kids proud, and everybody else proud. I said that my demeanour and my manner would have to change if I become Muslim. I've always been defending Islam and Muslims, but if I'm going to be Muslim, then I need to act accordingly and give a good example of what this religion really is. So I've seen a few negative comments. I've had a few threatening messages. Guys, the door is always open here. If you want to get a flight, come and see me. We'll sort it out. No problem. But listen, you're never going to steer me off this path. It's impossible. This is God's choice, not mine. And a mere human certainly isn't going to throw me off course. I'm really excited now. Feeling a little bit lost, I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to reach out to Big Brother Faris when I finish the gym. And if he's still awake, have a quick chat just about where I go and what I do now. At the moment, I feel like to just carry on doing what I'm doing. Let God guide me. I want to learn the prayer properly. Now I know the movements. I'm going to keep studying the Quran. And then just pick up bits and bobs as I go from friends. So yeah, thank you all. It's been amazing, and I'll catch you all soon, guys. Gym time for me. Bit of chest and triceps, and then I'll walk the dog and get in bed. Good night, everyone, and I love you all.
I just seen this comment where they said nothing will make you love America like traveling through Europe. And it wasn't until my recent trip to Portugal where I now resonate with that. I am the most unpatriotic person you'll ever meet. Don't like this country, and especially with all that's going on with the world and the things that this country perpetuates. And I have always been like, I can't wait to leave America. Like, America sucks, it's so shitty. But admittedly, the 3 times I've been to Europe, I couldn't wait to come back to the things that I admittedly have taken for granted. For example, I just came back from Portugal. I was there 10 days, had I did not even think to look up if my accommodation had AC. It did not, and I was there during a record-breaking heat wave. I went to the reception at 1 o'clock in the morning. The receptionist was passed out on the floor. He had passed out from lack of heat. And the hotel I was staying at, they were saying when I had checked in that they can't install elevators and they cannot install AC because it's in a historical part of Lisbon. And yeah, like, understandably, it was scorching hot. Mind you, I live in a desert, so I know what hot is like. Just imagine it being hot and then you're not able to even get a reprieve. Like, you would walk around, especially with it being Lisbon, you'd walk or hike around town and then want to come home or back to your accommodation and want to take a nap. You can't even comfortably take a nap because it's just hotter inside than it is outside. It was.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. It's called being poor, right? That's what we used to call it back in the day, is poverty, right? When the AC wasn't working, or, you know, when the heat ain't working in the wintertime, and so you had to get some extra blankets. You know, that's what we called it. But I digress. Let me back up for a minute. Being completely unpatriotic to the country that you are born and raised in is absolutely insane to me. The country that affords you the privilege to be able to travel to Europe and Portugal on a regular basis is crazy to me. And, you know, I actually looked at her profile, and I always like to leave a link in the description back to the person to give them credit. And I looked at her profile, and her profile picture was of the Luigi Margione guy, the guy that killed the healthcare executive and took him out and is now on trial as of the recording of this video. And so I believe her. And I think that this country, first, before we deep dive into what she's saying, this country has a bunch of traitors and people that are treasonous. And it wouldn't even fly in other countries that they probably praise a lot more than America, which is very interesting because your freedom is the primary reason why you're able to come on the internet and say some of the stuff that you say versus being in another socialist, communist country that will censor you. 100% censor you to the point to where even when you send an email, it's a delayed response or a delayed send because they want to make sure that you're not sending out anything that speaks against how you feel about the country. But you are afforded the freedom to do that here. You're afforded the freedom to be able to criticize the president, afforded the freedom to have a conversation about what goes on in Congress, afforded the freedom to even vote locally and nationally about who you think should be the leader to represent your interests. You have the freedom to go and achieve anything you want to achieve. And you have the leverage to be able to go and get student loans if you want to, if you can't afford it, or to lean into community college or lean into some form of help when you're not what you're supposed to be as far as making sure that you got the resources that you need to survive, right? We criticize capitalism a lot of times in this country, but there is no system that has driven more people out of poverty than capitalism. And you do it on the backs of people that have resources, right? And then people take advantage of it. But people from all walks of life, creeds, races, genders.
What I'm saying is now, boy, the reason why Trinidad and Tobago get rid of the PNM is because they were very audacious. They had a lot of audacity. They wasn't listening to nobody. Rowley started to move like a big bully and thing, and Trinidad and Tobago was like, you know what? We fed up with this man and we get rid of him. Right? Now, in getting rid of him now, it had the UNC Day, and they come and they sing sweet songs to the public now, boy, and tell them to go fix crime and the economy and the forex thing. We can't have no forex in the country. They will fix that too as well. They already taking advantage of it with the traffic fines and the police bullying the citizens and thing. And they get inside there now. And they're doing triple what the PNM was doing. The worse than the PNM by far. Right? Because they triple the fines, we never fix the forex thing, crime still out of control, they failing on their promises on them, and the ministers on them and looking like they too know what they're doing. But you see Kamala Pasabi, Sessa, and Barry Paradat and all of these UNC government ministers, including Philip Alexander, all they have no moral ground to talk about no racism in Trinidad and Tobago unless all they talk about the racism within the UNC. Whether it be all your own ministers like Philip Alexander who say Rowley is a monkey and a pelt shit, or all your following. Because if all you look at all your followers, they're full of racists. I never see more racists until I see UNC. You understand me? Kamla Pasabi Sasa, all they had to stop using racism as a tool when it fit all the narrative alone and bending the truth like if other people doing all your racist things alone. And racist things don't come out of all your party. They don't want to acknowledge all your shortcomings. But quick to spin a narrative to make a headline so that it could fit a certain thing now, boy. And then all your bots on the internet who just boy, yeah, when we win, everybody win. And controlling a certain sector of the public who not really able to think for themselves now, boy. And who just only read the headline and do already, you know what I mean, no going on in the country. Because I don't really fully understand either, you know. But all I know is that voice note or that conversation was a private conversation between two people. And Kamla Pasabi Sasa and the UNC, they are consistent with locking up people now for the point of view, including Alyssa Phillip. They lock up Jason Silva. Johan, was he still inside? Right? They went as far as to lock up Joshua Samaru father, who was grieving his son and said that he wanted to get rid of some police and thing because it's them who kill his son and they lock you up too. And don't need that he because he gets sick, you know. Else I feel over that he lock up they still too. So what I want all you to do, John Public, is not, I mean, yes, the incident is a little juicy because of the voice note and we hear the private conversation and thing, right? But all these things are connected, you know. The dictator doing different things, is dictatorship vibes going on in different aspects of life, including locking up Hardy and them who is like opposition to the dictator. Right? That ain't solving no crime, that ain't helping Trinidad and Tobago and not no 2-3%. Now it bring light to plenty things, like how the systems operate with rich people and poor people, and the 1% Syrians and them had a little corner too as part of the same. But look at what Kamala doing me or whatever that. It bring light to those things. But at the end of the day, the system is not to be used by nobody who in charge for their own personal agenda, like what Kamala and them doing by locking up people who they disagree with. It's the worst I have seen throughout our country in terms of people overreach. And people doing what they want and type thing. The worst on PNM. They have kept no promises. The grocery and them still high and stifling people. The pothole is the same size in the road or it's bigger by now. They are not fixing Trinidad and Tobago. I say the same thing with this UNC government. Everything is about yellow, yellow, yellow. They don't feel no patriotism. It seems as though they are fine with the division that Philip Alexander and their own racism does cause. Because they do just that. But as soon as they find some kind of little kind of inkling like a vibes towards them, the quick come now, quick to come on ball, racism, all look and see. All your team racist too, all your team racist worse, all your team racist bad. And nobody from all the side calling it out. That tells me that you're like disingenuous about fixing racism and fixing my country. And playing with it and playing with the people who less intellect to see what all they're doing. And all they're getting through too now. Because there's a lot of dunce people in Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody willing to think for themselves. Nobody willing to form their own narrative. Nobody willing to look at the history that we've been through and look where we are now and the things that we might need to do in order to change our cycle. Everybody willing to grab onto the bacchanal. And that's why all they watching this little voice note thing here with Kamala lock up Taddy and them and lend them go on all kind of thing and hold on to that alone and not seeing this party for who it is. Lego everybody who only are on that PDO. Because the only thing that show up in there is that other people are not rich enough to come out. Them ministers should really resign because all they using on the state funds and things for stupidness, all they pay me problem to have to pay out. And somehow, right thinking citizens of this country, I had to tell them and convince them all we can't stay angry, you know. We had to somehow try to make this place a better place by identifying politicians all here. When it is Kamala and them want to try to pull some kind of invisible makeup moral ground to talk about racism, I'm not addressing it holistically within their own parties and outside too. Because we don't want no racism in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm fed up by it too. All they do is keeping me apart and divided. We cannot grow through this. And Kamala, all they using it, all they intellect and all they smart and all they know exactly what it is all they doing. Anyhow, Trinidad and Tobago, all they big up all yourself, right? And have a nice day. I gone.